hang it up, hang it up. I'm not being biased. If I'm 100, if Tank got his ass whooped, I'm gonna say, you know what? He got his ass whooped.
You know, that Tank is over. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way.
This former world champion boxer is accusing Gervonta Davis of ruining the sport.
Floyd Mayweather has explained why he believes this is the end of Gervonta Davis. According to Mayweather,
That has whooped. Easy fight from what I see. And did the guy come out aggressive? I say it probably was 4 rounds the guy could have got, but 8 rounds he's getting outboxed. Turn. The name of the game is boxing. The name of the game is not slugging, because when the fight game is over, when boxing is all over, and you hang it up like me.
Davis's recent fight against Lamont Roach exposed a decline in his performance, suggesting that he has lost the hunger and drive to solidify.
First of all, Floyd don't never want to see no one like a fighter do better than them. How the say Terrence Crawford should fight Benavidez? That don't make no fucking sense. He don't never want to see nobody be better than him. I'm telling you.
Who's next in line? Just so you're next in line.
Is there like
The last question, guys, got right
is
there.
there like a love-hate for Floyd? Like,
Yeah.
the fighter?
Yeah, I love the fighter. Like, I ain't gonna lie, if he was like chill, like he'll be the smoothest. But he's not. You know what I mean? He's a great fighter. And my bad. And
you're good, man.
And he cause I don't want to say like he's just a scumbag, but it's like he's a great fighter, and sometimes he can be good, but it's like it's always
Himself as one of the best boxers in the world. Gervonta Davis has openly voiced his belief that Floyd Mayweather never truly wanted any fighter to surpass him.
A world champion boxer is accusing Gervonta Davis of ruining the sport. What do you guys think? And who do you think the former world champion is? It's none other than Paulie Malignaggi, or I don't know how to say his name, honestly. I just know that he had that whole thing with Conor McGregor, and then he couldn't even beat Artem Lobov in bare knuckle boxing. So take his words with a grain of salt. But obviously, I do agree with him to some extent. Gervonta Davis has all the skills in the world, but he's not taking the most competitive fights, you know? Lamont Roach, if he had made 4 or 5 defenses at 135, you'd be selling me a little bit. I'd be curious. But no, you're just recycling the same champion. You're not even progressing. You're killing the sport to line your pockets. I defend the sport. I want the best matchups possible. You're not going to entertain me with the B-level matchups just because they're pay-per-views, which makes a lot of sense. You know what I mean? I'm not paying for it. You know, I'm going to stream it like I would think most people are. But yeah, Gervonta Davis, I wouldn't say he's ruining the sport. I think Floyd Mayweather ruined the sport, because every boxer after him just wants to get the easiest fight.
According to Davis, Mayweather's mentality has always been centered on maintaining his own legacy rather than nurturing the next generation of boxing greats. Floyd never wanted anybody to be better than him, any fighter.
Davis versus Lamont Roach goes to a majority decision draw, with Tank retaining his WBA lightweight title. Now, I did not score this fight a draw. I had it 7-5 to Lamont Roach. I thought he had the ring generalship and effective pressure. You know, he was landing the jab and effective combinations. Tank, as usual, had a very low output, and he was relying on one big shot. You know, I gave Roach the first 3 rounds, Tank the next 3 rounds, and then Roach 4 the last 6 rounds to win the fight. Not to mention, Tank did take a knee in the middle of the fight. You know, by rule, that should have been considered a knockdown. Yes, it was to get his mouthpiece, and that's why they didn't rule it a knockdown. But anytime a fighter takes a knee, that's a knockdown. And that would have given Roach 1 more point to win the fight. Now, I'm sure they'll run it back. I mean, Lamont Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. He just had the fight of his life. He wasn't scared to go toe-to-toe with Tank. You know, landing his combinations, the bigger counters, and the more effective shots. He definitely deserves a second payday. Now, in the co-main event, Gary Antoine Russell put on an amazing performance. I think he won 11 or 12 rounds against Rayo Valenzuela. Great hand speed, good combinations, you know, masterclass to win the WBA title. And then in the featured bout, Alberto Puello beat Sandor Martin to retain his WBC title. He landed the cleaner left hands, definitely won the last 2 to 3 rounds to edge the fight, but overall,
Davis stated, expressing his frustration with his former mentor. His comments shed light on the often complex dynamics between a mentor and protege, especially in a sport as competitive as boxing. While Mayweather played a pivotal role in Davis's rise to stardom, their relationship has seemingly fractured over time due to contrasting ambitions and personal differences.
Thankful that your product got pushed out there, because had it not been, Tank might have been fighting in rinky-dink boxing clubs, bruh. We may have never got the opportunity to know who Tank Davis really was. So let's go ahead and start there. Now, Tank, early on, you heard him. He only getting about 10 racks a fight. Floyd is making it to where, yeah, I'm going to get your mama out this hood, but I'm going to have you on your knees crawling back to me. You feel me? You're going to have to get in where you fit in to really earn this bag the same way I did. But what I think was happening was, I think that Floyd Mayweather Jr. was getting a little tad bit jealous of Tank. He saw the potential. He knew what dude was capable of. And when you got a fighter like Tank Davis, you don't put him in a position to take a L. You put him in a position to win every fight.
The tension between the two boxing figures is not an isolated case. Rather, it represents a broader trend in combat sports, where established legends sometimes struggle to pass the torch to the next generation. Mayweather, known for his undefeated record and dominant reign in boxing, has built a legacy.
They left Bob Arum. It's good for them to do it and become their own boss. And then if another guy does it, it's not good for the sport. He's disloyal. And what's wrong with Tank saying he want to be his own boss? And honestly, I've been there. The relationship between them two is very toxic. It's a toxic relationship. It's up and down and up and down. And I'm not going to elaborate to everything that I know, but it's a very toxic relationship. And that's why when I tweet stuff, I don't tweet often, but when I tweet, I may fire off 50 tweets in the day. And that's why when I tweeted certain things about the relationship, Tank retweeted it, because he knows. Like, I'm not just going to say what it is. It's a very toxic relationship. It's back and forth.
That he fiercely protects. However, Davis suggests that this protection comes at the cost of suppressing rising stars rather than elevating them. Beyond Davis's perspective, other voices in the boxing community have weighed in on the matter. Critics argue that Mayweather's reluctance to let his protégés shine independently speaks to a larger issue of ego and control in the sport.
We talked about it before. We talked about it a few times, but now that he is doing his own thing, I hope the best for him, and I hope he is as big as the world. I don't care, I just want to do good.
He keeps alluding that there was something wrong there, that he wasn't happy with the support that he was getting. Is there something there from what he's saying, from what your relationship with him?
That's not really for me to come out and talk about. I'll wait until he's comfortable with saying and letting people know his business. But
sport. The transition from an active fighter to a mentor requires humility, and some believe that Mayweather struggles with fully embracing that role. Instead of empowering the new generation, he may be more focused on preserving his own status as the greatest. Adding to the discourse, boxing analyst Mali has criticized Davis for his own impact on the...
What Gervonta Tank Davis said, talking about him pricing himself out, saying that he won 150 M's for his rematch with Ryan Garcia. Y'all want to know what I think about that whole video? It looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts. Listen, man, where everything is happening, dude, all these fights are being made over there. It just looks like Gervonta is on the outskirts looking for the perfect op. But at the same time, talking about how big of a brand he is, how much of a product he is, how much he's worth, 150 M's, you know what I mean? I get all that, but here's the thing. What I've been trying to say, us as boxing fans, we're very satisfied with the product we're getting. We get a lot of crazy
sport, claiming that Tank has ruined boxing. This bold statement feeds into the ongoing debate about the direction in which modern boxing is heading. According to Mali, Davis and other contemporary fighters have contributed to the sport's commercialization and drift from its traditional values. Integrity has always been a cornerstone of boxing, and many purists believe that recent trends, including social media-driven feuds, selective matchmaking, and an overemphasis on financial gain, are damaging the authenticity of the sport. Davis, however,
gotta do that. A lot of people don't know that what Floyd do. He said.
So you feel like it was a sub, like he was subbing you, like
he was going at me. He was going at me, and I knew for sure he was going at me. That's why I went at him. There's no reason for me to go at Floyd.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Cause I feel like y'all got, I would say love hate, but it's been like the last interview you showed them love. This week it was whatever. But is that sometimes like, is it just like big bro, little bro seeing things different, or what is it to you?
No, Floyd don't never. He felt as though I'm at that point where as though I passed him. And I'm doing it at a young age. Wait, like when Floyd was 29, you'll see, bro.
Yeah.
That deal that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, that's a part of the
deal. He don't know about that yet. But that's bigger than his deal.
Damn. Wow.
And I'm just releasing it.
Exclusive. That's exclusive. Bigger than Floyd deal.
Yeah.
Is not alone in facing such criticism. The rise of exhibition fights and influencer boxing has blurred the lines between athletic competition and entertainment spectacle. As a result, fighters like Davis, who bring both talent and controversy, find themselves at the center of discussions about boxing's future. Some believe that these shifts are necessary for the sport to remain relevant in the modern era, while others argue that they tarnish its rich history.
It's public knowledge that Tank and Mayweather have had issues. It's public knowledge that they're not in the contract anymore. And it's public knowledge that Tank has moved on and is trying to, for the sake of words, separate himself from the umbrella of being under Mayweather. But Mayweather was there. Mayweather was there. Why wasn't? No. It wasn't because you wasn't trying to take away from a moment. It was because
Ultimately, Davis's remarks about Mayweather highlight a fundamental struggle between legacy and evolution in boxing. As the sport continues to change, the question remains.
Most overrated fighters in the sport of boxing right now, and not because of his skills, but because of his resume, and resume does matter. In my opinion, he's a victim of what I call Terrence Crawford syndrome, where you have a really bad promoter who only wants you to fight in promotion fighters who you know that they can 100% beat. If Tank Davis wants to be great, he's going to have to fight one of the other champions in the two divisions that he fights in, 135 pounds and 140 pounds. I'm going to list off all the champions in those divisions and tell you if I think he can beat them or not. So first we got the only other full champion in 135 pounds, Shakur Stevenson. If they fought, I think Tank has a good chance of maybe knocking him out in the later rounds. But if I had to bet my house on it, I would say Shakur Stevenson would beat him in a close decision, and it would end up probably being a boring fight. But I think Shakur has the skills to beat Tank Davis over a long 12-round fight. Now we have Subriel Matias, who's a scary Terminator-like fighter who gives up the early rounds to come on later and drown you in those later rounds. But he's very stiff, and he doesn't have very good footwork at all. I think Tank Davis will probably, box his face off for most of the 12 rounds. There might be some trouble in the late rounds. But if Tank can stay out of trouble, I think this is one of the few champions that he would beat, but I don't think he would fight him.
Should past champions pave the way for the next generation, or should they remain gatekeepers of their own legacies? The ongoing friction between Mayweather and Davis serves as a case study of this age-old dilemma.
As well as your boxing progress, who you have been invested with from the outset. Tank has been with Coach Calvin Ford since he was, I think 8 or 9, which is crazy. And the relationship that those two have is an enormous factor. Tank trusts Coach Calvin to give him the right advice, and that has been proven to be a good position, a good place to put your trust, because as of yet, he hasn't given any bad advice. He's very calm in the corner. He knows when to tell Tank to turn it up. He gives him
And the outcome of their public rivalry may shape how mentorship and succession are viewed in the sport for years to come.
That's why I said this, yo, you can't write this, man. You cannot write this. My experience being gone, and all the stuff that I went through, preparing me for where I'm at today. Man, Tank is over. He had the lessons, getting his lessons of what he got to do, take us the rest of the way. And this is his take us the rest of the way fight.
Fight against Lamont Roach exposed a decline in his performance, suggesting that he has lost the hunger and drive to solidify himself as one of the best boxers in the world. Gervonta Davis has openly voiced his belief that Floyd Mayweather never truly wanted any fighter to surpass him. According to Davis, Mayweather's mentality has always been centered on maintaining his own legacy rather than nurturing the next generation of boxing greats.
He said Tank is...
Hey, yo, they did Max Kellerman dirty for real, but go ahead, bro.
He said Tank is overrated by people that don't know boxing, and he's underrated by people that do know boxing. And
That's buzz.
What he meant by that
That's buzz. I agree with that.
What he meant by that is that if you don't know boxing, you don't know...
Floyd never wanted anybody to be better than him, any fighter, Davis stated, expressing his frustration with his former mentor. His comments shed light on the often complex dynamics between a mentor and protege, especially in a sport as competitive as boxing. While Mayweather played a pivotal role in Davis's rise to stardom.
So realistically, how much longer do you see yourself being a fighter? How many more years you think?
It depends. I got some people I want to get.
Like who?
I don't want to say their names, but...
Just say yes or no. Haney?
Yes.
Lomachenko?
Yes.
Teofimo?
Yes. Not really so much Teofimo.
Not so much. How come?
Because it's like, I don't know. Just, he ain't really like... I mean, if the fight like prevents itself, then yeah, but other than that...
It's not on your list.
Yeah, it's not on my... He's not.
Kambosos? No. Is there anyone I'm missing, or is that it?
Yeah, but I don't want to say his name.
Their relationship has seemingly fractured over time due to contrasting ambitions and personal differences. The tension between the two boxing figures is not an isolated case. Rather, it represents a broader trend in combat sports, where established legends sometimes struggle to pass the torch to the next generation. Mayweather, known for his undefeated record and dominant reign in boxing.
I want to do therapy, right? But I feel as though if I do therapy, it will lose the fire that I have inside me. I want everything out of me, West, though. I don't never think about fighting again. I don't think about even getting angry, you know what I mean? Because I have 2 girls, 2 daughters. I'm wanting to be much softer, you know what I mean? Be more humble and things like that.
Shout out to Tank Davis saying that he's going to go to therapy because he wants to soften up for his daughters and he wants to let go of the anger. And yes, although maybe the anger served him in his boxing career, it's not currently serving him now at the moment being the father. So shout out for Tank Davis. That's a real man. A real man is willing to be gentle in a tough, cruel world, right? It doesn't take much for us to be angry in the angry world. It takes a lot of courage for us to soften up and shine our light, whereas we've been maybe in darkness our whole lives, or maybe our darkness got us to success, right? So like Tank Davis obviously became successful, put in the anger towards boxing, but now he's on this next level of life and stepping into his therapy era, which I love to see. So shout out to Tank Davis for stepping into your healing era. Let's go.
Has built a legacy that he fiercely protects. However, Davis suggests that this protection comes at the cost of suppressing rising stars rather than elevating them. Beyond Davis's perspective, other voices in the boxing community have weighed in on the matter. Critics argue that Mayweather's reluctance to let his protégés shine independently speaks to a larger issue of ego and control in the sport. The transition from an active fighter to a mentor requires humility, and some believe that Mayweather struggles with fully embracing that role. Instead of empowering the new generation, he may be more focused on preserving his own status as the greatest. Adding to the discourse, boxing analyst Mali has criticized Davis for his own impact on the sport, claiming that Tank has ruined boxing. This bold statement feeds into the ongoing debate about the direction in which modern boxing is heading. According to Mali, Davis and other contemporary fighters have contributed to the sport's commercialization and drift from its traditional values. Integrity has always been a cornerstone of boxing, and many purists believe that recent trends, including social media-driven feuds, selective matchmaking, and an overemphasis on financial gain, are damaging the authenticity of the sport. Davis, however, is not alone in facing such criticism. The rise of exhibition fights and influencer boxing has blurred the lines between athletic competition and entertainment spectacle. As a result, fighters like Davis, who bring both talent and controversy, find themselves at the center of discussions about boxing's future. Some believe that these shifts are necessary for the sport to remain relevant in the modern era, while others argue that they tarnish its rich history. Ultimately, Davis's remarks about Mayweather highlight a fundamental struggle between legacy and evolution in boxing. As the sport continues to change, the question remains, should past champions pave the way for the next generation, or should they remain gatekeepers of their own legacies? The ongoing friction between Mayweather and Davis serves as a case study of this age-old dilemma, and the outcome of their public rivalry may shape how mentorship and succession are viewed in the sport for years to come.